What's up, everybody? It's your boy Flash from ALWT Gaming, aka Malachai36. I am here with Gravity-Mark Dos. What is up, man?
My goodness, man. Not a lot, and at the same time, a lot. You know? Like, a lot of little stuff. But it's always good. It's always good to, like, fill your day. Like, got any, like, loose spots? Got any, like, free time? Like, that you don't really need? Like, just fill it with something productive.
Right.
And, boy, let me tell you, all of the manga and anime I've been catching up on these past couple weeks. Oh, my days have been full.
Yeah, this past week has been really anime driven, I would say. All the way from Black Clover, which we're going to talk about today, to That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, which we're also going to talk about today. We also have some anime news, which kind of is rare for us to bring up on these shows because we just normally talk about the animes that's coming out as they're coming out and give our thoughts about that after we watched it. But before we dive into all that, I have been playing a little bit, and I can't even say I've been playing it because every single time I start it, I keep getting interrupted. But I've been trying to play the demo Outriders on PS5.
Oh, really?
I mean? Yeah, I've been trying to play that. It seems, as far as the setup goes, it seems very Mass Effect-ish. So it's definitely interesting. There seems to be like choices there, but I don't know. Like right now, they're just choices as far as dialogue choices. It's not like story plot line choices. From what I played, and again, it's at the very beginning. I haven't done any major fighting yet, but it seems pretty cool. We'll just have to see how it pans out. Even on the PS5, I will say it definitely feels like it's an alpha because sometimes the frame itself, not the frame rate, but the frame is like wobbly. Or it's like the camera itself is weird, and then
I've seen that I've seen that like here and there, like it's like mainly like with cutscenes where they'll try to like make it like just give it kind of like that shaky cam look.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, is it the game or like have I just been playing this for too long?
Yeah,
because I can't tell anymore.
That's what it is. It's the shaky cam look, and then there's some parts that's like, it does seem like it's not next gen. It seems like it is like previous gen. And I will say one thing I wish that they had about Outriders is I wish that you could choose your voice actor. Like you could choose your pitch and everything like that. Yeah, if you're a guy, you're a guy. If you're a girl, you're a girl. They only have one voice actor for both.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
that would definitely be nice.
But yeah, but definitely, I mean, it seems interesting. Hopefully, I'll be able to get through the demo in its entirety, so I could just delete it off my thing. It seems like that the demo itself is multiplayer too, from what I've looked at on the main menu. So we'll have to kind of see.
Well, I mean, now that I have a PS5 coming in, finally,
yes.
Jeez, yeah, no, like honestly, like I'm not gonna lie, I've been like saving Final Fantasy VII Remake forever. Like I've just been saving it for just a time where I'm just like, you know what, it feels right to start it, and then it felt right to start it, and then now I'm getting a PS5 and now I'm just like, I want to keep playing it, but like it's just gonna look so much better on the PS5, and I'm just like, you know what, I'll just keep playing it right now, and then once the PS5 comes in, I'll hopefully have already beaten it by then. But then at that point I can just transfer all my save stuff over, and hopefully, you know, I can just pick up the Yuffie expansion, like when that comes down the line, and then I can play that on the PS5.
That does come out in April as well. I would be on the lookout. Yeah, so a lot of good stuff's happening. I will
Sony's taking all of my money.
I will say, I would expect to make a purchase for the Yuffie DLC because, again, I know LSB Live was anticipating to be free, but even me and Silent, we were like, he went back because he thought it was going to be free upgrade too as well. But then like, and I was just like, I was like, for me, I didn't translate it that way. Yeah, I was like, I didn't translate it that way. And after he reread it, he was like, it seems like you might have to pay for it. So we'll see. So I'll be prepared to drop $25 on a new game, pretty much, or new expansion, I should say. I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
it's a new generation. That's the thing. It's a new generation, and like anytime there's a new gen console that comes out, there are going to be new games. So like you're going to have to invest a little bit. So you're just like, you can't just like pick it up and then just be like, cool, like now I have nothing to play.
Right.
Like it's great with all the backwards compatibility though, and all of the PS5 upgraded versions of these PS4 games. So I am excited. I am looking forward to that, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna love Ghost of Tsushima on that game, man. You're gonna love it. I will also say too as well. It's actually good that you're starting Final Fantasy VII Remake right now, because I was gonna challenge all of ALWT Gaming, that's interested in partaking in this, is playing through all of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Then like maybe mid April, which we would have to discuss the actual time period. We all literally have a All Things Gaming discussion about the game, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I will be just kind of in the background. Of course, I'll chime in and everything like that, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts about it, because there's a lot of discussion pieces, and there's even parts to where you guys might have played it slightly differently than the other person, because you might get different cutscenes that didn't happen for the other person.
Yeah, and that's been something that I've actually been keeping in mind, like as I'm playing, where I'm just like, oh, like, is this like the way I should be playing it? But then I'm just like, oh, I don't care. Like, this is my version of Cloud, and my version of Cloud is gonna go finish all of these side quests real quick.
But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, you're gonna be drawn to do those side quests as you play out throughout the game and everything like that. It's very rewarding. So, but yeah, so that's that. But what we have to give you guys again is anime news. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we dive into that, just want to give you guys a quick reminder that if you guys are not following us on social media platforms, we're practically on everything: Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. If you type in ALWT Gaming, we should pop right on up. If on YouTube, if you're having trouble finding us with ALWT Gaming, type in At Least We Tried Gaming, and we should pop right on up. Of course, you guys can also visit our Patreon at www.patreon.com/ALWT Gaming. Check us out there, and you can also check us out on our website at www.alwtgaming.com, which this is actually recording live on right now as we speak. And as always, if you guys are thirsty, like energy drinks, anything like that, make sure you guys are going to Rep Sports, REPP sports.com, type in LWT Gaming, and get 15% off. That is 15% off at checkout. And last little tip, you guys, this Tuesday, we're going to be having All Things Gaming. One of the stories we're talking about is how to possibly beat the bots on getting a PS5 and an Xbox Series X. We have little tips and tricks. As you know, that Gravity-Mark over here is getting his PS5 here momentarily, and that is because the tips and tricks we're going to go ahead and give you guys is actually what we put in place to actually secure him one. So, yeah, definitely.
I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yep.
I didn't think it was going to happen.
And the crazy thing is that we've been trying since November to try to get the rest of the squad some. I was lucky. I was able to get mine literally the day of when pre-orders came out. Barely Leave, who just recently got his is in the all the way to him too as well. But we've been trying consistently to try to get Mildew Carrot, It's the 9-Ball, Gravity-Mark, Abs 3315. We've been trying to get them all one, and it was hard because we just couldn't beat the bots. But the way that we found out, I got it on the first try. So this may be the way to do it. And like I said, be on the lookout for that this coming Tuesday. All Things Gaming on our podcast at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. Stuff you definitely don't want to miss out on if you want to try to lock in a PS5, Xbox Series X, and beat them bots. So, first story we want to talk about today is The Devil is a Part-Timer returns for season 2. So anyone that doesn't know what Devil is a Part-Timer is, it's an anime that's been out. What was it? 8 years ago? It's 8 years old.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's been a long time. Like, I think I was in. I mean, geez, was I in high school when this came out? I think I was.
You probably were.
I think I was.
8 years ago, I was 23.
8 years ago, geez, I was. Well, I was 18, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Depending on where it was, yeah, I was either in high school or freshly out of high school.
That's crazy. Well, there you have it. And anyone that is that likes Devil as a Part-Timer, they did have it on Netflix. It still is on Netflix, I believe. But for some reason, at some point, they removed the dub version, so it's just the subbed. If you guys want to watch the dub version, I believe they still have it on Funimation, so you guys could be on the lookout for that. But it's roughly about 12 to 15 episodes long. Really funny, actually. It's actually a really funny one, and it has a lot of potential and a lot of mystery to it, and it seems really cool. So diving into this from Noah Dominguez from CBR, order up the popular anime series Hataroku Mao Sama, known in English as The Devil is a Part-Timer, is returning for a second season 8 years after the original conclusion. The Devil is a Part-Timer season 2 was announced today, which was yesterday, at Kadokawa Corporation's Light Novel Expo. The first trailer and the key art for the new season has been released, in the former of which confirms the return of the original Japanese voice cast. That's awesome. That being said, no plot details or release dates are available at this time, nor has it been confirmed if the original English cast will be returning as well, though they certainly seemed interested. The series follows the demon lord Satan, who aims to conquer the world of Enta Isla by annexing its 4 continents. Standing in his way is hero Emilia, who kills 2 of Satan's demon generals, forcing him and one of his other generals, Alciel, to flee Enter Isla, at which point they find themselves in modern-day Tokyo. In order to survive, the depowered Satan, under the alias Sadao Mao, gets a part-time job at a fast food restaurant called McRonald's, which is really McDonald's, but whatever, and quickly becomes a model employee. So that's the point of that. What are your thoughts about this bit of news?
Dude, I'm actually kind of excited about it. This has been a series that I've kind of gone back and forth on it, just because part of me is that seems kind of interesting, and it's, and other times I'm just it to me it feels like one of those series that you have to be in the mood to watch. And just for the past, I guess you could say for the past 8 years, I've just looked at it and I'm like, I guess that looks funny, but I'm not really interested in it at the moment. I'm kind of into my action fighting shonen series, but lately I've been broadening my horizons. I've been trying to get a little bit more into some romance, some slice of life, some comedy. So I'm kind of excited for it now that I have Crunchyroll full time now. Now I'm definitely really excited to try to check out some more anime.
You guys probably hear him yelling "bye" in the back corner because he's about to take off. So, but I definitely watched it. I enjoyed it. I honestly loved this anime. One of the reasons why it hasn't really been a top 10, 20 for me is because it was only one season and I didn't think it was going to come back. I thought it was going to be one of those ones that was just dead and it was just not going to return. This really excites me because that anime was awesome. It was absolutely great. And like I said, it was funny. And normally I'm not into the little corny, try and be funny type scenarios. This one works very, very well. It's pretty funny. There's still a few parts that's just but ultimately pretty funny. Story number 2, Rise of the Shield Hero, Season 2 announcements. You want to take this one, good sir?
Absolutely. First of all, I gotta say this. Finally! Seriously, finally. It's one of those series that you're just they're gonna bring it back. They have to bring it back, but you're just kind of antsy, and you're just I need it. I need it. I need my Naofumi. Right. Let's see. So Brian Lanung, again, sorry Brian, probably mispronounced your name there, from Latin Times, quote, after a successful first season, the Rising of the Shield Hero needs to make sure that its second season brings in something better. No official release date has been announced, although it is expected to roll out in 2021. The second and third season for The Rising of the Shield Hero was announced at the 2019 Crunchyroll Expo, and something to take out of that is the second season will happen this year. The first season ended with 25 episodes, and the Japanese anime series was an undoubtedly successful series. The last episode ended on June 26, 2019. Though the pandemic shrouded 2020, showrunners had gotten more than enough time to prepare for the second season of The Rising of the Shield Hero. There is also reason to believe that things will be better for her. let's see, Masato Jinbo joined as a director to help out in season 2 of the anime. The first season was directed by Takao Abo. Among the things to expect for season 2 include the addition of new characters. It will continue to revolve around Naofumi Iwatani, who was dragged into a parallel universe along three other young men. Although after offering to become the world's cardinal heroes, Iwatani is expected to lead the way in the second season alongside Raftalia, Philo, and others. There's a lot to expect, partially how other countries are dealing with the wave of calamity. Most need the aid of the heroes, and this could be part of the adventures in the second season. This will also allow viewers to see the political structures, cultures, and societies in the parallel world that were not seen in season 1. All correct.
There you go. There you go. I'm excited for this. I'm very excited for this, and it's expected to release this October. That's a nice little birthday present for me, you know. Like, I'm just really, really excited for Rise of the Shield Heroes season 2.
You and me both.
Yeah, man. Me and Ohio were talking yesterday, late yesterday actually, before we jumped on a little bit of Smite. I guess there was like a small group of individuals like that's like super feminist, whatever like that, that were trying hard to kind of shut this down because of Raftalia being a slave and mine falsely accusing Naofumi for being a rapist or something. And it was just like, it was more along the lines like, well, you're saying that women can't speak out against rape or whatever, which is not what they're saying at all.
No, that's like, did they even watch the first season? That was literally not even what happened. Like, she literally went out of her way to deceive and to lie about that. Like, like, you are a victim, please. Like, it's okay. Like, it's like, everyone is here to support you. It's something, it is a very serious thing, and it should not be taken lightly. For this particular story, although, this just happens to be a case where this individual lied about it. So it's not.
Well, she lied about, and that was the thing. She lied about everything. She lied about trying to save her sister, and like she was going to go ahead and kill her sister. That's what that was. She lied about the exploits of the shield hero. She told the truth about the Three Heroes Church because she did not know that they were going to come over and try to attack her and everything like that. But there's just so much that she lied about, and even the queen was like saying, "My daughter, yeah, she's a pathological liar." Melty, on the other hand, she's good. That's why she's the heir to the throne next. But mine, no, she's a pathological liar, and that's what they're trying to point out. They weren't trying to point out the whole rape thing. They're just trying to show how bad the shield hero in general was being treated, because it was more than just the rape thing. There's constant lies, brainwashing shield. Like who came up with that? You know what I mean? Like stuff, just all that stuff that was just, they're just trying to put all this hate on the shield hero because of what we might find out more of in season 2. We'll just because we know that the king does not like the shield hero. We know that the king believes that the shield hero has taken from him stuff and separated his family from him. I don't know the extent of what that really is. I'm curious to see why the king feels the way he does. But that wasn't really explained in season 2. So we just got to go ahead and wait for season 1. So we had to wait for season 2 to see that side of the story, if they're going to show that side of the story.
Yeah, like because it is a very interesting story too. And the other thing to take away from this is that it's a fictional story. Like, it's a fictional story. You know, like if we were talking about a real story of something that happened, we can go and talk about that. But like, this is a fictional story with fictional characters, so it's okay. If you don't like it, you're allowed to not like it.
Yeah, you don't have to watch it.
You don't have to watch it. Like one of my life rules is don't crap all over people's art, and don't crap on the art that other people like. Like just don't be mean. You know, like don't like just because somebody you like Sword Art Online. I like Sword Art Online too, just not as much as you do.
I love it.
But like I'm not like I'll poke fun at you and I'll tease you for it, but like I'm not gonna like say that like, oh, you shouldn't like this because of X, Y, and Z. Like, I have critiques about the way they presented the story, but other than that, like it had some really great moments. So like, you're allowed to not like it. Just don't be like just don't be like the police for like what other people like. If it's absolutely terrible, then yeah, like let's all talk about it and let's see how we feel. But like, if you're somebody who's just like, oh no, I'm just gonna try to rally people up and try to like get this to stop because I don't want to see it. It's like, okay, well then just don't pay attention to it. Don't look at it. Like, it's not encouraging anything. And if it does start to encourage something bad, then we can talk about that as a species and as humans and say, okay, well, like, is this encouraging bad behavior? Yeah, if it is, cool. Then let's talk about that. Just let's all just chill out. Let's all relax. Let's just watch some anime. It's all good. It's all good. There's plenty of anime out there.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, if you don't like it, you can switch the channel. The first, so that kind of does it with us on the gaming news. But I have to ask you, because now that we have got you caught up, I know we talked a little bit about it off stream. That time, or is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? You're caught up. What are your thoughts?
I've got to say, this was probably. I've got to say, this is probably the better of all the seasons so far, like by far. Because because at the very least, like when you look at the first season, like it was kind of like just a bunch of different mini stories that they kind of were just using to like kind of like build the base for what the series was about. And then the second season was really just two storylines that they just kind of like told like half of the second season was this storyline and half the season was that storyline. And then this season was all one solid storyline, which I really wasn't expecting.
Right.
But I liked the fact that they let the story breathe. They let the characters breathe. They gave the story the time that it needed to really like flesh out the characters, flesh out the problems, and all of the sort of conflicts that go with that. And I loved that. And again, spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Come back.
Yes.
Like, let's talk about it. I don't want to be the party pooper here, but you've been warned. But I like the fact that the first two seasons were really like to build up Belle Cornell as a hero, because every single time, like especially during this like the finale, like you see Hermes like standing there kind of like watching over him, and it's just like he's like, yes. He's like, yeah, be the hero that we like, that like people keep asking for, like be the hero that's in the legends, like we need another hero, like do it. And once they get to season 3, Hermes is like, what are you doing? Like, I set up this perfect like plot for you to become a hero, and you're throwing it away. Like, they used the first 2 seasons to really build up his character, and then they used the 3rd season to knock him down a bit, like in terms of his social status with other people. And it's all because of his relationship with these monsters who, for what one reason or another, have been reincarnated in the dungeon with intelligence. So they can speak, they can think intelligently, they can act intelligently, they can get together, and like they're basically just people that just, spider people, lizard people, they're just monsters with people brains. And what was her name? Wine?
Yeah.
Like she
yeah.
Poor thing. Poor freaking thing. Like her story in general was just really adorable. Because you're just like, oh, she's like learning, she's like she can speak, but like you can tell she's like very freshly reincarnated. And so like she's like while she's spending time with Belle and the Hestia familia, like she's like slowly kind of like learning more and more language. She's picking up on it very quickly, and she's learning more about culture, and she's learning more about kind of where she fits into society, which is that she doesn't. And then you find out that like, what was it, like the guild, like the head of all of like the people that kind of like I mean, they say they kind of keep the all of the familias in check, but really they don't.
You talking about Kyranos?
So yeah, it was like it's the guild leaders. So
Yeah.
like it's like the guild who's like supposed to be like in charge of the familias to make sure that they're in line.
Yeah.
But like over the past couple seasons, like you're just like they don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like because like the guild's like, oh yeah, like we know about the prostitution ring. It's like, well, why aren't you? What? Just what? Why? And then they're just like, huh. Just like, come on, seriously. And but like you find out that like they've been well aware of this group of intelligent monsters that lives very deep in the dungeon in an uncharted part of the map. And they allow them to kind of like slither around, and they're using Bel Cornell as this bridge between monsters and people cohabitating and like just kind of living together. And I think that that's an incredibly interesting storyline, which, you know, again, it's nothing, like I'll say this, it's honestly nothing original. Like we've seen it done plenty of times in other anime, but you see this character who's, you know, he's a rising star. He's like he is pretty strong for what he is, but he still has a lot of room to grow. And he's kind of like putting not only his safety and his social status at risk by aiding and assisting these monsters. He's also kind of threatening the Hestia familia, where it's like you're putting them in danger and saying like, oh shoot, like if this goes wrong, like they could break up the familia. Because like we've already seen what happens when they do that. Like that we've already seen that they can break up a familia where they're just like, you broke the rules, like done, no more. And then it's like, what do you do from there? Like what happens to Hestia? What happens to the rest of the the rest of the gang? Where do they go? And so it just kind of, you know, it just kind of threatened the fabric that kind of held everything together. And so and as an audience member, you're just like, well, shoot, what is he going to do? Is he going to risk everything? Is he going to be a little hesitant going into it? Like, what's going to happen? And just the way that they went about it was really great. And I loved how the Minotaur that he fought at the end of season 1, where he got his the horn for his little red dagger.
Yeah.
After he killed that Minotaur, he was reincarnated into a more intelligent Minotaur.
Yeah.
And tracked Bell down and was like, I need a rematch. And then they fought, and Bel Cornell got his butt whooped.
That was a great fight,
whooped.
man. That was a great fight.
It was amazing. It was destructive. and he had one arm.
Yeah.
The Minotaur had one arm because friggin' Iron's already like cut one of them off.
Which she was also in danger too, because she was fighting him, and then that's when Fen and the one dwarf had to step in, which are both level 5, by the way. And I know it doesn't sound like anything crazy, but level 5 is actually a big deal in this world.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. So it's just
we're not talking Dragon Ball power levels here.
Yeah, yeah. It literally was like they had to step in. They're like, nope. There's 2 level 5s about to take on this Minotaur now, 2 of them, and it's just like, oh my goodness, this is, woo! it got good. Season 3 got good.
It was so good, and like I said, I honestly think this was probably the best season out of all 3 so far.
I agree.
And again, really, I have to credit a lot of it to the time that they gave the story to breathe. Because like they could have easily rushed that story and told it within like half the time, but it wouldn't have had the same amount of impact.
Definitely not.
It absolutely wouldn't have had the same amount of impact. Like before I fully got caught up, you were like, there's going to be some parts, especially one where you're just your heart's gonna get ripped out of your chest.
Yeah, that's exactly about to talk about.
As I'm watching it, and as I'm watching it, I'm just like, okay, when is it? I'm just like, I gotta hold it like this so it doesn't just come out. So I'm just like, I'm watching, and then Weenade supposedly dies, and you're just like,
but it was the way they painted it. It was the way they painted it, because it was really, really epic. Belle finally gets to Weenade. He's about to go ahead and try to bring her back to reality. She ends up getting, I think, shot by like an arrow or something like that. Like right in the chest or gem or whatever. Then she starts fading as she's like kind of saying like to Belle that she loves him and stuff like that. She fades, she's gone. And I'm like, no freaking way did they just kill this girl.
Like it was one of those deaths that like you were just like, what am I gonna do now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how am I supposed to like keep watching this? Like, I'm like, I know I've only known them for like 6 or 7 episodes, but come on, like, what am I supposed to do now? You can't just break my heart like that.
Yeah,
come on, Don Machi.
It literally was one of those like silent scream type moments. You're just like, no, like I literally sat there the whole time, just like, no way, no freaking way. Like I just kept saying that over and over because I thought this was it. And then that's when the skeleton guy comes out. Once he starts chanting some stuff, I was like, oh, she's coming back. She's coming back. And then she came back. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like it was, it was big
like,
time.
It was one of those like triumphant, like, oh my God, they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do it, aren't they? She's going to come back. Like for real. And then like and I think we said this last week, but like the light that the light show that happened afterwards, the amount of energy and power that it took to bring Wine back to life, people were like, did a god just die? The amount of power and output that came with this, like it looked exactly like a god or goddess that had just been killed going back up into heaven. And people and they're just like, oh no, that's someone being revived. And the other thing that I like about this series is that it poses an interesting question, because again, like this isn't like something that this isn't like, you know, an original concept by any means, but I love the way that Don Machi went about telling the story, because I like the idea of, you know, these very intelligent creatures, especially like in Wine's case where she is very intelligent, but and I kind of wish they would have gone a little bit more into detail, like with the stone on her head and like why specifically like that is the key to like her being intelligent, because like I didn't really catch that. Maybe they mentioned it and I just completely missed it, but I didn't really see as to how like somehow like she has like a red gem on her forehead and like that somehow like keeps her sane and keeps her kind of like human.
I think they mentioned that with that one guy that went down there to kill them. He just wanted to kill. I think they mentioned that during that time period, but it would require a rewatch.
Yeah, like because like removed the stone from her head, like she she transformed into a bigger monster and went berserk. And so it kind of poses that question of like, if you know, like if monsters because like there's that base level of like, well, if monsters are basically humans that just look like monsters, then why are we treating them differently? Like why are we like being mean to them? Why are we oppressing these ones specifically? Because they're fine, like they can interact with us and we can interact with them, and there's no problem, there's no issue. But it also kind of like shifts a little bit when they talk about that stone, or they address the stone where they rip it out of her head, where it's like, if the line between humanity and monstrosity is that thin, it's like, well then at that point it's like, well, how far can they go with this connection? Because like I didn't really see like a stone in like any of the other monsters' heads. So like if it's just Wine, then maybe like she's just an exception. But like if all of them kind of have that trigger where if something's removed, they kind of lose their humanity. It's just like, well, at that point it's like, how can you trust? Like if I had a friggin' rock in my forehead, and if it just fell out or it got removed or ripped out of my head somehow, and all of a sudden I was just a serial killer, like you'd be like, like how do we go about doing this guy? Like should we have him permanently wear like a helmet? Like can we get this kid a Naruto headband? Can we get this kid like a Naruto headband to just protect the forehead?
Well, even with that, because remember, there was that time period where those adventurers did do something that made everyone go berserk and attack each other. So there is something that's in them, and I think there's even a time period too as well when they're about to look like they're about to escape, and Hermes was just like, "Hey, nice to meet you guys. By the way, you guys must die." And then he explained to them what his plan was, and it was the gargoyle that was just like, I'll go ahead and be the one that dies to Bell, and he was going to go over to get killed by Bell, but Bell couldn't do it. There was something there that again was like he was acting like he was berserk, but he really wasn't, because it was just something along the lines. There is something in all the monsters. It's just that for Wine, it was just easier to see hers because it's right there on her forehead. So so I
like that.
Yeah.
I do hope that like they kind of like they flesh that out a little bit more, because I would like to see more of Wine. I would like to see more of these guys. Like if it's gonna be one of those things where like maybe like we don't see them for like a season or two and then they pop up later down the line, it'll be like, oh hey, that's really cool. But yeah, like Wine like ripping off her claws and her wing to prove to Ainz that she's like, I don't want to hurt anybody. Like seriously, I that's not what I'm here for. Just kind of like stripping off all of the pieces, like kind of like the metaphorical pieces of her that kind of like represent a monster, and she leaving behind only just the humanoid figure was very touching. It was just very, and again, I could never rip off my own fingernails. I'm sorry. Like I have accidentally closed my hand in a car door before and have had a nail fall off. That hurt. I could never just sit there and just be like, I need to rip this off real quick. I'd be like, okay, like can I like file these down? Do you have like some nail clippers? Like I promise, like I'll bite them off. Like I'll bite like the tips off. I can't rip them off.
They really that was very symbolic, and that also made Ainz realize that this particular species is different, because she couldn't look at her as a monster anymore after that. All she's known was monsters. She's been killing monsters, everything like that. Now that Wine was willing to do that and did it, now she's able to see the part to where she's the compassionate side of her. So it was a huge moment there. A lot of stuff that they had, a lot of elements they had in this particular anime season. I'm curious to see how season 4 is going to go. I think that they are going to show more of the Xenos, because that's what they're called. I think they will show more of the Xenos and everything like that. I very much want to see more Lid. That's my favorite Xenos out of all of them, right next to Wine. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm just glad you're caught up, so that way when season 4 comes out, we're going to be able to talk to that side by side.
I'm so glad. Yeah, especially the way that the season ended with Belle like actually going up to Ainz and being like, "Hey, can you train me again?"
Yeah.
So like they leave it off on that cliffhanger where you're just like, he's gonna get stronger.
Yep. Very interesting stuff there.
It's gonna be some good stuff, man. That's not the only thing I'm caught up on.
Yep. Let's talk about it.
That time I got reincarnated as a slime, man. Just finished the last episode, the latest episode rather, just this morning.
I did it last night.
So first of all, I was gonna say, like, you texted me and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to catch up on this. So I completely caught up with it, but I kind of took the wheel on that one. I'm actually gonna pick your brain with that time I got reincarnated first. With so far with what they've shown. What are your thoughts on the season so far, and what are your thoughts with this most recent episode?
So, the most recent episode had me... Okay, so I said this before. I think I said this maybe even last week or the week after. But the last episode that we saw before this one was Rimuru coming back to his hometown after fighting one of Shizu's former students and stuff like that. And he sees that all these people had actually died, but they were all like, this is gonna sound harsh, but it's the reality of it. They were all like no-name people. Like we didn't know who they were. We just know that was a population of.
They were all background characters. They weren't important.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was just all stuff like that. So it was just like, okay, all these people died. You see Rimu get like slightly pissed there when he saw the Kijin that was the one that infiltrated his place, his home, and kind of set the barriers in motion and stuff. But then he thought logically and he's just like, all right, well, it's all good. Then you find out that Hikaru was injured with Gapta, You saw them both get injured. And this is talking about this latest episode too, by the way. So if you guys are spoilers, everything we're going to talk about from here moving forward on this one and the next one, which is going to be Black Clover, spoilers. But anyway, he goes over to see Gapta. He sees Hakuro, and he heals them. Everything's cool. He asks where Shion is at. He's just like, did she go ahead and try to take revenge without me or whatever? Because I mean, she's a hothead. Then you go, like, everyone kind of gets a little quiet, and to me, I took that as, okay, she's probably really hurt, like in critical condition, and something will come out of this. Because the way that the anime is designed, you're not expecting anything catastrophic to happen to these characters. Just the way that it's designed. Then Benimaru was just like, come with me. And he starts walking through, and they walk back through pretty much the graveyard of goblins. Because the goblin bodies are out there on the streets lined up. And you see the graveyard of goblins just right there. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, what's happening? What I thought was happening, I didn't think was likely. And then they get to one body, and they look over. You see the body, and it's Gabzo. Which Gabzo is not a main character, but he's a supporting enough a character to realize that if this guy's dead, this guy is dead. So it's just like, at that point I was like, no way. And then they revealed the body, and it was Shion. Shion is dead. I lost it. I was like, no way. No way. And Rimuru was standing there. It's one of those ones to where the camera's showing his face, but you see, like, the part from his eyes on up is a shadow. And you just see him looking down, and he looks literally like almost like he's pissed. And all of a sudden, like, they're talking and saying like how Shion had protected the some of the goblin kids and everything like that. She gave her life for that. You see the broken horn on Shion. You see the cut on her side. Then all of a sudden, you just see Rimuru's purple aura just spew out of him, and everyone like instantly gets scared. He's pissed. He is pissed, and I would be too, man. Like, oh my goodness. And then he's just like, sorry guys. And then oh my goodness, man, that took me by surprise. I did not see that coming. That was Wine all over again to me from Danmachi. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, my heart jumped out of my chest. Like, I had just patched up. I had just put it back in my chest after Wine, and then this happens.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, come on, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, I did not see that coming at all. If anything, I thought she would be in critical condition, and maybe a few episodes would happen to where they had to bring her back to current condition. But no, she was dead. She was absolutely dead, and I thought that was going to be it. And I kept telling myself, I was like, "There's no way this is real. There's no way this is real. Absolutely no way." And it started kind of queuing up to that this is the reality of it. When they stalled him absorbing her, that's when I saw the three adventurers coming back, the three goofy adventurers and stuff like that. It was the female wizard girl, the rogue, and the warrior. When I saw them coming back and they were like rushing, I was like, okay, this might be my one saving grace here. This might be it. And like I said, he was getting ready to do Predator. He's better go ahead and do Gluttony and take her in. And that's when they're like, wait, there might be a 1.0% chance of bringing them back to life. I was like, that's it. And the name of the episode is called Hope. And that's the hope that it was that they were talking about. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, please let this be real. And because of how the story is written out, chances are this is going to be real. Chances are Shion will come back to life, as well as the other, because everything was written out perfectly in the stars right now. Because there's just like it's I can't remember Erin. I'll just call her Erin. I can't remember what her real name was because she's actually an elf, princess elf that is. But Erin told a story it was a fairy tale, and it ends up being real. I don't know. You probably caught this, maybe not. But you know that story was talking about Malene, right?
Maylene, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't catch it at first. At first, like when they were first like telling the story, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like, and then like over time, like they showed more and more like kind of like storybook pictures,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh wait, that's Maylene. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, she's more important than we thought she was. Like, she's not just some random like incredibly powerful demon lord that just shows up and just hangs out with the main cast every now and then. Like, she's not a Beerus. Like, she's like she actually like has a background and a backstory that we're actually going to be seeing here coming up soon. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. So that was the story of that, and now it just comes out. And this was actually a prediction that someone made before. I don't know if it was a prediction or if it was a leak or if it was just someone that read the manga or whatever. But anyway, like kind of going back to the barriers, like Rimuru could have removed the barriers before Eren and them got there, but he was just like, no, let's wait. And I can't remember what his reason for waiting was. Like, it was an actual valid reason, but he's just like, let's wait or whatever. But it's good that he didn't because inside the story, the dragon's soul had left him, and then when Maylene had done X, Y, and Z, the dragon actually came back to life when she became a demon lord. But because it lost its soul, it started kind of terrorizing stuff. So she had to be forced to put it down yet again. Because
that kind of actually reminded me of the resurrection technique that was in Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh yeah,
where it wasn't exactly the same, but like it was geez, I can't remember his name. It was King's friend. Because it wasn't like though like that like they brought his friend back to life and then his soul wasn't there. It's just that every time they brought him back to life, his soul was just damaged more.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of that monkey's paw kind of deal, where it's just like you got what you want, but you get what you want, but not exactly what you want.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, that in Rimuru's case, that may be what he wants, because since the berries were there was no way for the magical souls to escape to. So all the souls are still technically in that vicinity. It hasn't escaped anywhere. Mm-hmm. So if he keeps the barriers intact, which he ended up making a third barrier anyway, if he keeps the barriers intact, he goes out and becomes a demon lord, which he ended up finding out that the number one way to become a demon lord is by killing 10,000 human souls. 10,000 of the people that attacked him in the first place were on their way. It was actually 20,000 of them were on their way.
20,000, yeah. I was like, he doesn't even need to kill all of them.
Yep, and he just
like, good.
He just laughs. He's just like, this is perfect. And it's just like, that's the first time I've seen somewhat of a dark side to Rimuru. Like, it's him. Now, granted, it is, I don't want to say it's well-deserved, but it is one of those situations where it's like, you guys attacked me. You guys attacked my family. You guys attacked my town. Killed X amount of people. And now you're trying to come back again for round two? You're mine. You're mine. That's what is kind of going on right now. Because they're on their way right now to finish the job. Because they gave the warning. Falmouth was the town. Or the kingdom, and they gave the warning saying, hey, in 24 hours or 3 days or something like that, let every monster know that if you guys have not evacuated, then we're gonna kill everybody. This is them coming back, and Rimuru's there now, and he's pissed, and he's ready to become a demon lord so he can bring everybody back to life. You know, so
yeah. And I'm really interested in this, and I say that like a lot. Like, clearly, I'm not gonna talk about something I'm not interested in, but.
Right.
But a lot of the concepts, because you and I have talked about the concept, especially of like equality, with the show, and I love that. In a lot of ways, the show is very much written in a way that gives the audience some sort of catharsis or like relief. That it's not an Attack on Titan where you're just constantly like stressed and you're just like, oh my gosh, like someone's gonna die, someone's permanently gonna be dead, like it's gonna suck. Like the show does a really good job of defying your expectations in a very positive way. Yeah. And it's not in like oh well whatever. Like it's like, because like you saw when Rimuru saw Shion's dead body and he like was losing it. He was like he was at that moment. And you were just like, oh my god, he's gonna go nuts, isn't he? He's gonna rampage. He's gonna be like, oh, Ningen, and then he's gonna just massacre people. And then, but he stops and he's like, oh, sorry about that. And even the Majin, who like created that internal barrier, like she was like, oh hey, it's my fault that all these people are dead. And he, like, when he saw all of the people, you saw it in his eyes where he wanted to murder her.
Yep.
And then but she was remorseful for it, and he kind of like they were like, it's not like, it is technically her fault, but like she, she's kind of being forced to do it. And then it's that human side of him kind of comes back and calms him down. He's like, okay, all right, well, you know what, let's just go over here, let's just go talk about this, let's figure out, let's regroup, let's figure this out.
Putting a quick pin in that, what was your thought when he was just like, oh yeah, I know what it had to do with you, you gotta die?
So this was actually my thought. My thought was that he was going to kill her, and then once he becomes a demon lord, he was going to resurrect her with everyone else. Mm-hmm. That was going to be my thought, but again, they defied my expectations, and he's just like, oh no, like I just broke your temporary heart that you were given, because and just to clarify, she has a temporary heart because another demon lord has her heart and is using her as a puppet. And she was gonna, she's like doing all this bad stuff and creating a barrier to, like, aid in the massacre, just so that way she can get her heart back, and she can be with Yaum, who also had an interesting storyline in this season as well.
Yeah, he does.
But so Rimuru was just like, you gotta die. And so, like, instead of like actually killing her, he's like, oh yeah, you were dead for like 3 seconds, but I gave you a new heart.
Yeah.
Like, I gave you like a new like temper, like a new like a synthetic heart, so that way she's no longer under that demon lord's influence. That demon lord is no longer listening in on their conversations, and now she's free to do what she pleases, which is, in this case, aid the good guys.
Yeah.
So, or at least the protagonists in this situation. So I'm really excited. That was really cool.
I loved every bit of that, because it was just like again, it's kind of painted the picture that Rimuru is kind of having that dark side, of that monster side now. He even said it before. He's just like, how come I can't shed a single tear for Shion? He's like, oh, that's right, because my heart is a monster too as well now. Like he was kind of losing it, even though he got pissed that she's dead. Like, he was starting to lose it, but then at the same time, he was thinking about it rationally and stuff like that. So you bring that same energy to the trial of what's going to happen to the Majin, and he's just like, yeah, you're dead. Shion's dead. You're dead. And so I think that's exactly what had happened, and so he kind of puts on that facade. He ends up wrapping up Yom. The Beast King, or the Beast, I said Beast King because of Digimon, but anyway, the Beast Warrior starts trying to attack Rimuru, because again, like, he'll give everything for this woman too. And Benimaru is one heck of a BA character, because he took him down with ease in his beast form. In his beast form. So Benimaru, by all means, is up there. But he holds him down, and Rimuru, and
he was weakened too. Like, let's just say that too.
Yeah,
let's not
exactly.
forget that he was also the barriers were weakening all of the monsters, so he was being weakened, and he was able to just like barely even move, and just took him down.
Yep. And then Rimuru comes up, stabs in the heart, looks like she's dead. Yom starts like kind of having that face like, oh, she's gone. And then Rimu's just like, oh, it worked. Everything's good now. And they're like, what? And then she's like, how come I'm not dead? And that's when he explained everything. Rimuru, man, he's a smart cookie. He's a smart cookie. And it even made it even better that this whole, I don't want to say act, because they didn't know. They thought she was really going to die. But the act made Clayman think that he really is going to kill her. And now the connection's cut off. And now he's probably not going to think twice about it. So. And
now this is something that, like, I actually just thought about while we're actually having this discussion.
Yeah.
Because the plot, and I could be overthinking it. This very well could be me overthinking it, but just for the sake of theory, okay. Just for the sake of a theory, let me just throw this out there. The demon lord that was kind of like manipulating her to create that barrier, to kind of trap the monsters in there and to weaken the monsters, in conjunction with the, the Holy Church, to, again, to trap them, to try to weaken them so that way they can die. He's like kind of like giving off the impression, at least to like the audience, where it's like, oh, like he's doing it because he wants to facilitate a war between, this nation of monsters and these people. But at the same time, you don't really know why. And the other thing that that at least I thought of, especially all through season 1, is that Rimuru is incredibly powerful. He even consumed the Orc Lord, who was a demon lord.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that like even after that, I assumed he was already a demon lord.
So wait. Was the Orc Lord a demon lord, or was he like on the verge?
He was a demon.
He was.
No, he was. Okay. They did. He was a demon lord.
Okay.
And so I was just like, so how is he not considered a demon lord yet? He's clearly powerful enough to become one. So why is he choosing not to become a demon lord? Because that's what it seems like. And now that the plot is kind of pushing him to a point where he's like, well, got to become a demon lord. That's all right. If that's what I got to do to bring people back, sure. I'm wondering if the reason he sent the Majin into the town to actually put up that barrier might have actually been, maybe him actually thinking several steps ahead to push Rimuru into a situation where where it would force him to become a demon lord. And again, I could be overthinking this.
No, I think you're right on the money.
I could be very much overthinking this, but I'm like, it sounds like it could be very plausible.
I think you might be right on the money about that, and I'm just kind of curious of why Clayman, if that's the case, I'm kind of curious to see why Clayman would want more demon lords out there. You know what I mean? Because I think that when he had the Orc Lord, which is the Demon Lord, I think when he absorbed him, yes, he had the ability of Demon Lords and stuff like that because he had the Demon Lord in him from the Orc. But at the same time, he didn't do the deed of killing 10,000 souls, which they said that is a requirement to become a Demon Lord. So I think now that the table's being set for Rimuru to literally have a feast, then like at that point he could be like, all right, well, I'm going to become a Demon Lord. Everyone's going to be coming back to life. Bam. You know what I mean? But then it makes you wonder, what's the next step going to be? Will Rimuru's look change? Will his outfit change a little bit?
Yeah, and the other thing is is his personality going to change too? Because they've been kind of like talking about this through since season 1 and into this season, and you actually mentioned it too, where they're slowly kind of emphasizing that he's realizing that there's part of his humanity that's no longer there because he is technically a monster. And so it's like I'm wondering if it's going to be one of those stories where it just kind of keeps pushing him, and it just kind of says, well, how far can we push this character towards being a monster before he just completely loses his humanity? Because they've shown time and time again that times where normally you would expect him to lose his lose it. He just kind of calms down. He's like, oh, sorry about that. And then he just calmly just goes about trying to figure out a better way instead of blowing up and losing his mind and kind of letting those monster instincts take over. I'm interested to see maybe more of them kind of experimenting with that, especially now that he is going to become a demon lord with this, or at the very least he's going to have to be. But yeah, and one more thing is that with Shion's death, I when they were just okay, come with me, they're not telling him anything, they're just come with me. I was like, oh, she's dead, isn't she? She's dead. And I had my honestly, I'm glad that she was just the body, a little bloody with her horn broken. That was it. I'm so glad that it was just that, because I was right about I swear if this turns into another Nina thing where she's just just splatted everywhere, I'm gonna cry. I can't handle that.
Yeah, dude.
I can't handle that right now. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But thankfully that wasn't the case, and again, this is a show that it's kind of a feel good show too.
Yeah.
There is a lot of tension, there is a little drama in there, but it shows this article said, actually that was a different article, but I like that it's showing this political side of it too, where Rimuru's just I've been playing with fire this whole time, trading with other nations, and I had no idea that I was doing that. And Yeah, like every time you think that the show is going to go one way, it goes a different way, and I'm loving that.
I think also like I think it also there's two things actually I wanted to point out that I thought would be very unique. One, because of the power scaling that's going on right now, do you think Veldora is going to be free in this next season?
If he is, then that brings up the question of whether or not Rimuru still has all of that immense power.
I don't see why not. Because again, like when he gets the molecules or whatever, the magicules, and then he makes more potions, like he's taking in that potion and then he duplicates it and he makes more. So when he spits out Veldora, if that happens, he might still be able to replicate adult Veldora inside of him.
Is Veldora isn't Mayleen's dad, is he?
Practically, I mean, it practically is. That was the dragon that he first ran into at the very beginning.
Right. Because I thought about that and I was like, is he?
Oh, like, you say Melee? Oh,
because like I thought about that too. I was like, did they say anything like that?
I don't think.
Because it
I don't think
sense.
it was. I don't think Malim was. I don't think that is. Well, it might be. Veldora might be Malim's dad, but at the same time, I feel like they would have elaborated more on that when Charybdis came to the scene. Because Charybdis was like, I mean, I guess essentially the son of Veldora. That's kind of what they explained it to be. I don't think that was exactly the case, but that's kind of what it was, is that Charybdis and Veldora were like two peas in a pod.
Yeah, my gosh, dude. Like this, there's a lot with the show. Yeah. There is so much. Like, and again, it is a very feel-good show, and I like that. Like, because again, as much as I love shows like Attack on Titan, I love like the tense, like scared feeling you have all the time, where you're just like constantly on the edge of your seat. Sometimes I just want to like lay back, relax a little bit. Like I want to watch a little tension, a little drama, a little action happen. But secretly deep down, I know that everything's gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's that sense of comfort. I'm just like, that's a nice ingredient to have with your anime playlist.
Well, I think that's also why this episode was so shocking to me. Because that was something you just don't see. You always see Rimuru coming out victorious. Even when things seems dire, you think that things are going to end up working out. When he came across Malim, how did he beat her? By feeding her honey. You know, like how did he beat the Orc Lord? By absorbing him. How did he end up beating Shizu's student? He didn't, but he survived it because he was able to put a piece of him to the side. That he was able to recreate himself.
Oh, the Majin Buu.
Yeah, pretty much. Like so, it just always he always came out on top in one form or fashion. When you get back to Tempest Federation, that wasn't the case. There was deaths, there was travesty, there was destruction, and now you're seeing a side where it's just like, I'm very curious to see how the American voice actor is going to translate this. I'm very curious
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because especially like within the past several years, like English dubs have gotten significantly better.
A lot better.
Like there were some dubs that were like back in the 90s and the early 2000s that were pretty good, but like most of the time they were just really bad. And honestly, I feel like it was mainly just because they weren't really given the right tools to understand the characters. But I mean, as of right now, if you look at pretty much any like big main anime right now, the English dubs have been getting significantly better. Like they've been stepping up their production. They've been really stepping up, actually like getting into the character. And like instead of like sounding like they're just phoning in a line, like they're actually like embodying that character, and it comes off as very believable. And you're like, oh wow, like this is actually great.
Yeah.
Like I can actually sit through this and not be like, oh my gosh, like that was real cheesy. Yeah, that was really cheesy. But yeah, I am interested to see like how the English dub is going to do that. And remind me, did season 1 have any? Did they mention anything about damage to the spirit? Because that seemed like something new that they had in this season. Because that was like the whole fight with between Rimuru and Shizu's former student, as well as that was damage that Gabta and I can't remember his name, his teacher. Yeah. That were like they were injured, and where they were like, oh, like we're trying, like the high potions aren't working because they had their spirit damaged.
I think that was, well, with that being said, I don't think that has ever been an actual discussion in the first one. Because I watched the first season so many times, and I don't remember them ever saying anything about spirits. I think the only time that there was anything close to a spirit was the one demon lord that was a fairy. You know what I mean? And then they ended up putting the spirits inside the kids. That was the closest.
Yeah, and now like we're seeing that like people's actual like souls and spirits like can be damaged, which was how like when Rimuru was like, okay, like I got hit a couple times, like how many more hits can I take before I'm dead? 3. Oh, 3?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it's definitely some really, really good stuff. I can't wait to see what this week is going to have in store for that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Something that you're a little bit further on. Well, before we jump into that, because there's one last thing I want to talk about the slime. Yom. The thing that Rimuru wanted to do after his whole stage acting with killing the Majin and stuff like that, and he said, Yom, I need you to do me a favor. Yom was like, anything. Like, at this point, like, Yom is just like, you're my guy. You're the top guru. What you want, what you need. He's like, I need you to be king. He's like, yeah, sure. Wait, what? And then that's what he says. Yeah, I'm going to be going to war with Falmouth. I'm going to take out everybody. Everyone's going down. Everyone can get these hands. They're ready to eat for everybody. Step up to the plate. You know what I mean? That's what's going down there. And then he's like, and when that happens, we're going to need a new king. And I trust you. I respect you. You're a human king. Let's go ahead and get this work. And he's just like, oh, well, I got you. And of course, the little beast warrior, I can't remember what his name is, but he makes a joke saying, yeah, when you croak, I'll be right there. But just because he has a longer lifespan than Yom does. But I mean, like, what do you think about Yom being king? Because he just was the hero that defeated the Orc Lord, which we know that wasn't the case. But he was going around there and training under Hokuro. That definitely makes things very believable because he can fight, and you saw that in this season. At the very beginning of the season, you see Yom has some moves. But then like now he's going to be king after, and this is all after his initial plan in season 1 that he's going to stage a death of him and his comrades. Now he's going to be king. What are your thoughts about all this?
I think it's really interesting, and I think it's just another example of how the show, for the most part, like doesn't really let any character go to waste. Like because like we even saw this with the 3 adventurers, where you find out the female wizard is actually a princess.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh shoot, because like for me, like it had been a while, so I was like, wait, like who were those guys again? And I was like, oh, they were the adventurers that were like the first humans that popped up in that new world, like when Rimuru was reincarnated.
Yeah.
And I love that they have these reoccurring characters. And it's interesting that like they have this guy who just really honestly like wasn't that strong. Like he was kind of good, but he wasn't that strong. And after Rimuru beat the Orc Lord, he was like, hey, I need you to go around and start telling people that was you.
Yeah.
He was like, I can't take this heat right now. I can't take the attention. I need you to go around saying that it was you. And not only is he just like, oh, hey, like I'm just gonna like I want you to go around saying it was you. He's like, I'm going to get you better armor. I'm going to get you better weapons. I'm going to like actually train you so that way you can actually like fight a little bit better.
That was the thing that got me. I don't think he ever mentioned training, but I mean, it's implied, but I don't think it was ever mentioned. And now you're like, like that's what threw me off. Cause like when they were saying Yom is going to go against that beast, like I was like, all right.
Oh, I thought he was going to get his butt whooped.
I thought he was going to too. And then Rima was going to step in, but no, Yom held his own. And it's because of training Hokuro.
And it's just another example of how they're really not letting any characters go to waste, and they're actually having pretty much like every character have their own story.
Yeah.
Because like it's not just like it's not a character to fill in the blanks, you know, like it's not like, oh well, we need a character for this scene, like let's just throw in this person who just pops up every now and then to fill this role. Like they have characters fulfill roles, but they have stories. Like every single character has a story. They have a background, that we've learned about. They have, you know, the initial meeting that like with the interactions where the characters first meet, and now then we see like where they're at, and we get to see this really nice like character arc where it's like we get to see like where they started, and we get to see like where they are now, and we get to see like how they are evolving as a character. And we're seeing this character who, for the most part, was just a joke, and now we're seeing him go from a joke to a king. And it's just like it's all because of these crazy events that, had it not been for Rimuru, would never have happened. He would have just been a joke for the rest of his life. But because of his one interaction with this character, now he's going to become a king. Exactly. And that's, to me, like, that's really interesting. Like, it's really interesting to kind of see that growth and progression.
Right. Yeah. I'm very, very excited to see how that's going to pan out this week and everything like that. I'm also very excited to see what's going to happen on the next episode of Black Clover. I know you're a little bit further inside the manga. And as always, I know I mentioned that at the very beginning of the show. We're going to say it again right now. Spoilers alerts. It's going to be not manga spoilers. It is anime spoilers. Anything that's been out right now on the anime train. If you guys want to dip in this conversation, kind of hear our thoughts about it, make sure you guys are checking out these shows first on Crunchyroll, Funimation, Hulu, or YouTube, Netflix, because I know some of them might be on there too as well. So make sure you guys are checking that out there. And then after you guys get done watching it, come back over to this podcast, which is ALWT Gaming, and listen to this one for All Day Anime Episode 10. Because we have some really serious things to talk about. I will start off by saying, freaking Yami, man. Freaking Yami. How powerful is this guy? This guy's a genius. This guy's a dog. Like, what do you, like where do we start here? Because Yami just took on a Demon King at 80%. 80%. Which is the highest that he can go right now in this realm. Mm-hmm. And now, granted, it's still going on. The episode didn't end it with him being victory, but because of the regeneration abilities these demons do have, it's almost like he didn't phase him. But if they didn't have that demon ability to regenerate, Yami killed that guy. He actually killed him a couple times with the death point.
Like straight up killed him.
Yeah.
Like that death thrust?
Yeah.
Like that's the name of the move, is Death Thrust.
And that animation, man, that animation was so. You haven't seen the animation. I know you just read the manga on this one.
I did see the animation for that.
Okay.
Like, while I haven't like seen the the full episodes, like I have I've had like the fight scenes like pop up in my YouTube feed, like every now and then. So I'm like, oh, like let me check it out, see what's going on. I'm like, oh, that was a really great. That was a really great animation of that. Yeah, and I'll actually get back to some of the differences that I'm or some of the things that I'm noticing as someone who reads the manga and also watches the anime. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, Yami. I mean, like, we already knew Yami was OP, like, just because, like, especially like with the last arc where they had to fight that demon. It took the OG Wizard King, mm-hmm. along with Licht, and they still couldn't do it. There was Asta in there. There was Yuno in there. There were all of these big, just these amazingly powerful characters who were just wailing on this guy, and they were barely getting anything in. And then all of a sudden, Yami, who is, by the way, like on like a different like floor level, like they're like up here in a room up here, and they're like, he's like down a shaft like over here. That didn't look right, but I'm just saying that's where he was. But like he's already wrapped up in like a really small ball made of like rose roots or vines, where like he's being protected, so that way he doesn't like get eaten from all like the nasty demon stuff that's in there. But he's like super far away. He's not even like in the same room, and he's like, there is. I think he's right about there. And he just cuts the dimension. Yeah. From that room all the way up until there, and he cuts the demon in half. Yeah. It's just one of those things. And again, like when you watch anime for long enough, Like certain feats are just kind of like, oh, cool, like they're cutting through dimensions. All right, they're doing this, they're doing that. But like when you put your when you insert yourself like in that story, and you're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna turn my brain off for a little bit, and I'm just gonna like be in the story. You're just like, he cut the dimension,
yeah,
and he cut it like so far away, like it was almost like a sniper shot. And that already to me was just like, holy crap, this guy's incredibly powerful. And then with a death thrust, he obliterated that guy's entire torso.
Exactly.
It was gone.
Yeah.
It was gone.
That sound effect and everything. And one thing I will say too as well about Yami that's just so awesome to me. Every time he pushes himself past his limits, he comes up with some amazing ability. Because again, the first time was that dimension slash, and that's when he was trapped kind of far away from his companions. Yeah. And he's just wanting to get there and help them so bad, but he can't. And then he ends up pushing himself past his limits. He gets the new ability. He uses dimension slash to escape the prison that he was in. Gets to one of the it was the Roars of Dawn, not the Roars of Dawn, I can't remember what they're called, but the three suns that was by Licht.
The Golden Dawn?
It's not the Golden Dawn, but it was the three suns or something like that was by Licht. There was the one that looked like a beast man.
Oh.
Yeah, the one that's always tired, and then the little girl.
Oh, the Eye of the Midnight Sun.
Eye of the Midnight Sun, that's what it is. So he comes across one of them, the Eye of the Midnight Sun, which I was to believe was the more stronger one. And he's about to go ready to self-destruct. And Yami's just walking up to him, just like, I got this. Slashes him in half. Done. Literally because of that dimension slash. Now he's doing the same thing. He breaks through a boulder when everyone else thought he was dead. He's just like, how lazy would that be? How lame would that be if I'm telling my students to push past their limits, and I can't even do that here right in front of them? And then he's just like, death thrust. Boom! He's like, shish kebab galore. You're done. That's exactly what happened. But then he ended up coming back, and like that kind of leads up to the point of him realizing this guy's power. He's realizing this demon's power, and then he knows that Asta's on the ground. He's like, Asta, I need you, and that was enough strength to make Asta come there like that. So my question to you, Gravity, what demon is inside Asta?
Well, I know the answer to that, so do you want me to like...
Do you know the answer?
I do know the answer. So the manga has talked about it. The manga has gone into a little detail with the of the demon that is inside of Asta. They've also shown some backstory on that demon. And they've also just gotten into the backstory of demons in general. They've shown like a little bit of the demon realm, a little bit, kind of like showing what it's like over there a little bit more. So there's a lot of like really great stuff to be looking forward to. So I actually need to catch up with the anime, because as great as the manga is, the anime is like, I love seeing the differences that are the artistic differences that they choose to make. Because it's one thing to read a scene and like kind of like play a scene out in your head in a certain way, and then actually seeing like voice actors like get in there and play it, and actually like getting to animate things. Because that's also something that, as I've been going back and I caught up with Jujutsu Kaisen recently, I was watching like fight scenes, and I'm like, oh, is that what they did? They did like a little flippy thing and like did a kick like that. Like I didn't know that they did that. Because sometimes especially sometimes with the art, it can get a little like you gotta fill in the blanks for yourself, and that's fine. But like getting to see it in action, getting to see like Yami like where you see his eyes are just wide, and like you can see him like panting, and he's like, he looks like he's about to collapse. He's got blood dripping on him, and he's just like this got this crazy smile of like, oh man, I'm tired. I'm real tired, but I'm gonna do it. Yeah. I'm gonna death thrust you. Like I love seeing that. Like, because like it's one thing to like see like a still image of it, and it's another to see it animated.
Right.
Because it just gives it, especially when there's music behind it, there's a whole atmosphere. It's just so much more interesting. But yeah, because I will say like the manga will kind of touch on that demon a little bit. I'm not gonna talk about like what is going on with that demon, but at the very least, yeah, like Yami is absolutely OP. And what I thought was really interesting was kind of Asta like losing it a little bit, because I don't think we've really seen that. Like we did see that like when he was like when he first like got his black form, where he was kind of like being controlled a little bit by the Queen of Witches.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but like this is like maybe like the second time or so like we've seen him lose it, and now his arms all like what's going on with that?
Yeah, I want to ask you. So, well, all right. So first, I have two questions for you. One, of course, not giving us the name and everything like that, especially if we're going to be finding out that here soon. If you had to give an estimation of how much further we got to go until we find out the demon that's in Asta, how many episodes do you think that we would have for that? That's one. And then two, do you think that in the next couple episodes we're going to see the fight with Megula and Noelle? Do you think that Noelle is going to become victorious, or this is going to be something that's going to be drowned out to where maybe Megula will leave, then come back, and then or something like that?
I think that they're gonna like. I'll answer the second one first. I think they're going to wrap up that fight probably within the next episode.
Okay.
Just based on some of the things that I've already read, they're probably going to be wrapping it up within the next episode or so.
Okay.
Which to me, I think that's perfectly fine. Like, I don't want them, you know, because you want them to like expand the fight scene a little bit more. Like, again, give it time to breathe. Actually, like don't rush it and like make you just feel like, okay, well, what did I just watch?
Right.
Like, you know, like let it breathe. Like kind of like let the fight feel like, you know, a natural fight, like a natural anime fight rather. But the other thing, in terms of like how much longer it's gonna take, based on what I've seen so far, if I had to guess, I would imagine it would be, I think it's gonna be less than 10 episodes, but it's gonna be closer to that 10 episode mark. So I'm guessing like anywhere between like maybe like 6, if I was like 6, or like anywhere between like 6 to 8 episodes out.
Okay.
Is where we'll start to see some of that background. Because there's also some like really cool stuff too that I'm actually kind of seeing. So I'm actually like on YouTube and seeing a few like thumbnails that actually reminded me more of the manga, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta like watch what I say. I gotta watch what I say, because there's some good stuff coming down the line. There really is some good stuff. There's so much packed into this. I will say this arc so far feels a little rushed in terms of the manga. Like, it does feel like it's kind of like just going really fast, and you're just like, well, geez, like, come on now. Like at the very least, like where the first season was very like I will say this, like the first part, like it, like where they were doing a lot of the building, like a lot of the earlier episodes of Black Clover were just very boring. Like to me, they were just very boring.
Yeah. And
they didn't really get into like the exciting stuff until they started to touch on the
Mars.
You know, the Eye of the Midnight Sun.
I it was earlier than that for me. Like I thought the first 18 episodes were dull. I didn't actually get into it until Mars showed up.
That was, yeah, that's right. That was when it started to pick up a little bit. But like the Eye of the Midnight Sun arc was just so good because they layered it in such a way where you were seeing kind of the building blocks of these characters who were like kind of like learning lessons with each kind of like mission that they were going on. But in some way, each mission that they were going on was relating back to the overall bigger plot, which was the Eye of the Midnight Sun with the elves.
Right.
And with this arc, it's kind of not really doing that, and that's okay. It doesn't have to. You know, it doesn't have to do the same thing. It's more so just kind of like jumping in, and it's just like, okay, well, this is the new story that we're telling. This happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. So I definitely would like the anime to kind of let the show breathe a little bit. You know, like I would like for them to just kind of like do what they've done in the past, where they've actually taken like certain scenes or like certain plot lines that were a little shorter in the manga and they like actually like give them some time and give them some space where it feels a little bit more natural, where you're just like, oh, like, okay, like this doesn't, like the pacing feels better. So I'd kind of like to see the anime kind of fix the pacing a little bit, but I just don't want them to like stretch it out too much, you know?
Yeah.
Like you got to get that perfect balance of just like, don't rush it. Also, like, I don't want this to be a 5-minute Namek fight.
Yep. You don't want it to be a Frieza fight.
Like that's, yeah, like you have to find that balance. Yeah. And like the studio behind Black Clover has already shown that they can do that. And so I expect good things.
There you go. And that actually does it for the topics and news that we had to talk about today. But there's something that I definitely want to talk about as far as the hidden gem goes. This one was actually recommended by our buddy Ohio, and he had talked about this as he's been watching it consistently, which is the quintessential quintuplets.
The quintessential quintuplets.
Yeah, the quintessential quintuplets. There you go. So on that one is the hidden gem that's been out there. I think it's a newer one. High school student Futaro Usugi, I might have said that wrong, is a academically gifted student that leads a difficult life. His mother died, he has no friends, and on top of all that, his father has incurred a large amount of debt. An opportunity presents itself when the rich Nakano family transfers to his school. Futaro is promptly hired as a highly paid tutor. However, much to Futaro's dismay, he discovered that his five charges, identical quintuplet sisters, are of varied personalities, have no interest in studying at all, and have abysmal grades. Some of the quintuplets are against having Futaro, whom they view as a stranger, in their apartment, but Futaro's diligent tenacity gradually convinces those girls to accept him and improve their grades. Throughout the series, Futaro develops a special relationship with each of the quintuplets. Through a flash forward, it is revealed that he eventually marries one of them, but her true identity is only revealed near the end of the series. So there you have it. What are your thoughts about that anime? I know that's been on your marker to watch. Ohio's been watching it pretty diligently. What's up? Where are your expectations on this?
So this is actually a series that I did add to my watch later list on Crunchyroll. As you know, I think it was like last week or so, I watched the entire first season of Domestic Girlfriend, and then I was like, I want to read the anime, or the manga rather, and I read all 267 chapters within a week. And while the ending can be very controversial, I thought it was fine. Like, I actually had to like sit. I like with that series, I actually sat there for an hour, just thinking about it and rereading the last couple chapters, because I was just like, this is weird, but like the concept of the whole thing was already weird to begin with. And it's one of those things where I'm like romance, like comedies, like romance series in general are fine. Like they're actually like, they can be very rewarding if you actually like give it the attention that it deserves. But I am interested in seeing it. I will say something that I did kind of like pick up from reading Domestic Girlfriend is that especially like after I saw an interview with the author behind that series, is that the author talks about how with a lot of romance series, the relationship is like kind of seen as the goal, whereas the actual story of romance is actually like after the fact. And so like with Domestic Girlfriend, they kind of talk about how like they do a lot of build up to a relationship, but like once that relationship starts, they explore that relationship. They explore like the nuances of actually being in a relationship and being in a committed relationship. It's like it's a lot. I mean, you and I have been with our partners forever. Like being in a relationship is a lot of work. It's like it can take a lot of work, and it's very rewarding. But like it's one of those things where I'm like, I really want to see it, but after like kind of like seeing that series, my expectations are kind of like a little up here. Where now I'm just like, I kind of want to see the struggles that they kind of go through like as a couple, rather than kind of like all of this like build up to like, will they, won't they, like. but at the same time, like those kind of series are always really funny to me, because I'm just like, will they, won't they? Like, oh, is it going to happen? Oh, nope, this, yep, oh, nope, yes, no. Yeah. So like, and because it is a comedy, like those are always really funny to watch. So it's, like I said, it's on my watch later list already. So I'm going to be watching this. I'm actually actually thinking about reading the manga for this too. So if that tells you anything.
There you go. Well, yeah, guys, that actually does it here for us on All Day Anime episode 10. Thank you again for everyone that's been tuning in, but stopping by and that's watching this later on podcast services such as Anchor, Spotify, or if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I appreciate you guys for dropping in. Just a general reminder, make sure again, if you guys have your Amazon Prime, you guys also have Twitch Prime. All you have to do is just link your accounts together. You guys get a free sub that you guys can send to one of your favorite streamers on Twitch. We recommend to send it to us because I think we're pretty fun people, but if you don't want to support us with that sub, be sure to go ahead and use it for somebody else that's on Twitch as well, because again, that's just free $5 that you guys are wasting if you guys are not taking advantage of that. And of course, we can be found on social media platforms such as Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, pretty much almost anything you can think of we're on, with the exception of Snapchat. We don't have Snapchat. If you guys want to reach out to us on email is atleastwetried.gaming@gmail.com. Our website is www.alwtgaming.com. And of course, again, remember, if you guys are trying to get yourself a PS5, Xbox Series X, do not do so without these tips, because we got tips and tricks that we're going to go ahead and give you guys this coming Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we talk about our things for All Things Gaming. Your guys' free PlayStation Plus games, I know we talked about it before, but I have to say it again, even though this is not a gaming podcast, this is an anime podcast, we have to say that Final Fantasy VII Remake is a free download for you. So if you guys have yet to actually pick that up, you guys are completely missing out. Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. Like, seriously, do yourself a favor. This game is really fun. Mm-hmm. The combat for this is really fun. The story that they're fleshing out is really, really good. So do yourself a favor. This game is $60. Mm-hmm. $60. Do yourself a favor. It's free. Like, pat yourself on the back. You'll thank yourself for it later.
Yeah, they got that. There's Remnant from the Ashes. There's Maquette, and then there's Farpoint, as well as if you guys want to add Destruction All Stars to your library. For those that don't have a PS5 or are unable to get a PS5, make sure you guys do it through your PlayStation app. But I'm telling you right now, you guys have until the 6th to fully. Well, actually, really the 5th. You guys have until the 5th to download Final Fantasy VII Remake or add it to your library at the very least. Telling you guys, you will not be disappointed. I think you'll enjoy it. But again, going back to the hardware, if you guys are trying to get yourself a PS5, Xbox Series X, please make sure you guys are tuning in this Tuesday, as we might also have a special guest. That's still pending. We'll have to find out. But this Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be talking about the video game news and hardware news that you guys need to know about. Do you have anything last to say, Gravity, before we go ahead and disperse and dismiss?
I mean, you already know peace, love, and anime, man.
Yes, sir.
Peace, love, and anime. Just be kind to everybody. Don't crap on people's art, and don't crap on the art that people like. If somebody has a genuine emotional reaction to seeing a turd spray painted gold and bedazzled, if there's something that somebody connects with that turd on a fundamental level, you could say it is a bedazzled turd, but let that person like that bedazzled turd. It's okay that they like that turd. You're allowed to say I don't like it. You don't have to look at it. Just let people like the art that they like.
There you have it. Well, I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. Make sure, again, tomorrow is our Sin segment with TBF Abyss and Mildewy Carrot. Make sure you guys are checking out the Mildewy Carrot's page for that at www.twitch.tv/Mildewy Carrot. That's MILDWY Carrot, CARROT. Tuesday, All Things Gaming. Thursday, Smite Night. All the way to Saturday, which is our 9 to 5 segment on Valheim. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to have a good time with that. And then, of course, we're back here next Sunday for All Day Anime. Until next time, everybody, Control, Alt, Complete.
Complete.
Peace.